marry. Obergefell versus Hodges, the right of same-sex couples to marry the person they love. And other key cases involving equal treatment under the rule of law and the right of privacy, which is central not only to the reproductive rights of women and men, but also rights against illegal surveillance by the government and snooping and spying on private lives. These issues are not hot-button controversies. They are core cases that stand for principles like the rights to privacy and equal treatment. But Judge Gorsuch dodged all of them. He summarized the cases. He told us how old the opinions are. He reminded us they're Supreme Court opinions, but he provided no affirmation that he agrees with these decisions or their constitutional tenets. A justice who fails to share these basic values and believe that these decisions are correct, in my view, is outside the mainstream and a potential threat to constitutional rights that protect the lives and livelihoods of millions of Americans. For most Americans, the Chevron doctrine is virtually unknown and perhaps would be incomprehensible, but it underlies a great deal of the faith and respect that is given to the work of agencies responsible for protecting consumers and workers and others who exercise their rights. I'm going to quote from an article of just the past few days that I asked, Mr. Chairman, be entered in the record. It's The Government Gorsuch Wants to Undo by Emily Bazelon and Eric Posner.
So ordered. It'll be put in the record.
The reality, quote, the reality is that Judge Gorsuch embraces a judicial philosophy that would do nothing less than undermine the structure of modern government, including the rules that keep our water clean, regulate the financial markets, and protect workers and consumers. That kind of approach to enforcement undermines respect for law and the rule of law. The Supreme Court is more than marble pillars and judicial robes. It's the embodiment of American justice. It is the flesh and blood embodiment of American justice. Justice that has a human face and voice. Its decisions must ensure that the rule of law is preserved for real people and that our Constitution continues to protect us from overreach and tyranny. And that's why it's so important that the nominee to the Supreme Court be approved by more than 60 votes, not that razor-thin majority that we are heading toward today. And that's why I will use and support the filibuster if necessary to oppose his nomination. Judge Gorsuch did say that he would follow the law. But as I said to him in my last round of questioning, Supreme Court justices are not automatons. There's no algorithm that enables them to simply follow the law. In fact, they resolve issues where the laws conflict, where constitutional rights bump against each other, and where circuits of the courts of appeals conflict. So core beliefs matter, and adherence to precedent, and acknowledgement that certain decisions are correctly decided all matter. And today we still know very little about Judge Gorsuch's core beliefs. But here is what we do know. We know that the man who hired him has said he passes his right-wing litmus test. We know that right-wing conservative organizations have spent millions of dollars on the prospect that he will move American law dramatically to the right. And we know that he will not answer questions that his predecessors, like Justices Alito and Kennedy and Chief Justice Roberts, were willing to answer about core tenets of American jurisprudence. In short, he has left us with substantial doubt. That doubt leaves women wondering how long they will have autonomy over their health care decisions. Same-sex couples questioning whether they might be denied the right to marry the person they love, workers and consumers doubting their rights, and Americans fearing the court will abandon protections of privacy and equal protection under the rule of law. That doubt is why I cannot support this nomination and why I will join in a filibuster, if there is one, to stop it. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just state briefly as well my position on the nominee for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. I agree with my colleagues that he is a nominee with a very impressive background and qualifications, and I would vote for him if he agreed to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the Russian interference in our past election, the potential involvement or collusive action involving Trump associates in that meddling, and other matters related to that set of incidences. I believe a special prosecutor is absolutely necessary to do the investigation and to hold accountable anyone responsible for colluding with the Russians. The facts have been established that the Russians sought to affect the outcome. Whether they did or not is immaterial. But through a concerted campaign of cyber attack,